El sábado 13 de septiembre, el investigador de los
On
Estados
Saturday,
Unidos,
September
Anthony
13th, the
Tony
United
Bragalias,
States researcher,
publicó
Anthony
una
Tony
noticia
Braglia,
que fue
published
difundida
news that
por
was spread by
diarios en todo
newspapers
el
around the
mundo.
world that the
Por ejemplo,
Pentagon
el
had admitted to
Pentágono habría
investigating
admitido
extraterrestrial
estar
material and that he had
investigando
received
material
more than
extraterrestre
150
y
pages
que
with
él
the details of
habría
this
recibido
investigation.
más de
The
150
news
páginas
undoubtedly caused a
con los
sensation.
detalles de esta
This is the
investigación.
first time in
La
history that the
noticia, sin duda
Pentagon would have
alguna,
admitted to
causó
having recovered
sensación.
unidentified
Se
flying
trata la
objects
primera
and
ocasión
parts.
en la historia
News
que
that,
el
without a doubt,
Pentágono
must be
habría
considered
aceptado
historical.
haber recuperado
We
partes
had
de
the
objetos
opportunity to
voladores
get
no
in touch with Tony
identificados.
Braglia,
Una
and he gave us the
noticia que
first
sin duda
interview
alguna
he has given
debe
in
de
his
ser
entire life,
considerada
and here we
histórica.
present this great
Así,
world exclusive.
tuvimos la oportunidad
Braglia
de
has never
ponernos en
spoken into a
contacto con
microphone,
Tony
and for that
Braglia,
reason we are very
y él
grateful and
dio
proud to
la
present here
primera
all the
entrevista que ha
details of
dado
how
en
he
toda su
obtained what
vida
this
a este
extraordinary
medio.
information
Y aquí le
means.
presentamos esta
Materials
gran
that could change our
exclusiva
lives in the
mundial.
future.
Bragaglia
It is,
nunca ha
without a
hablado
doubt,
ante un
news that could
micrófono,
also change
y
our
por eso
lives.
estamos
Heidi, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I think maybe the best way to start would be at the beginning. In 2017, the New York Times ran an investigative report on the existence of a formerly secret Pentagon program that dealt with UFOs called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP. And this program, Heidi, it ran for many years. It involved many millions of dollars. And within the article that I wrote on this was the mention of UFO material, which, if recovered, would be stored in what they called specially modified facilities by a private defense contractor called Bigelow Aerospace in Nevada. And this kind of buried mention of the UFO material within the Times article got me to initiate a Freedom of Information Act request, or FOIA, with the Pentagon. And I was requesting, and I quote, physical debris recovered by personnel of the Department of Defense as residue, flotsam, shot-off material, or crashed UAPs or unidentified flying objects. Well, 3.5 years later, late last month, I was stunned to receive from the Defense Intelligence Agency over 150 pages of technical reports on very strange material like intelligent metal and liquid metal. Very strange things, Jaime.
It means that you got very special information, and they knew they were releasing this to you. They knew you were talking about UFOs or UAPs, as they call it now?
Yes. In fact, there is no doubt whatsoever that I was referring to UFOs and the material from either crashed or shot off UFOs. I was not referring to traditional aerospace metals research. I never mentioned anything about metals that comprise jets or jet engines or anything like that. There was never any mention of that. In fact, in my request, there was only mention of UFOs or UAPs.
It means that they knew they were releasing this information to you. They knew you were talking about this phenomena and the profound meaning of releasing this information.
Absolutely. And the material that I received, again, was 150 pages of highly technical reports. And one of the reports was on what we call memory metal, which was a shape recovery alloy that was found fallen as debris at the Roswell, New Mexico UFO crash in 1947. And many, many people had reported a material that when they crushed it or deformed it, it returned back to its original state. Well, lo and behold, when I received the technical reports from the Pentagon, part of them related to memory metal. But this time they're looking at the ways in which to incorporate memory metal into the human body. For instance, for use in dental material or for heart stents, things like that. So what I think they're trying to do, Jaime, is to blend in the research from ET-inspired material and do a technology transfer and bring it from the black world into the wide open. The way that they've been doing it is very artful. They've been able to do this technology transfer by confusing things. What they're doing is they're taking aerospace metals research and extraterrestrial metals research and folding it in and making it very difficult for people to understand the impetus of the research.
Well, it means now that they recover parts of UFOs in crashes. It means that they know much more about this than just flying objects, because now...
I agree. In fact, I have to say that the request was very direct. At all times, I mentioned UFOs or UAPs, and at no time did I mention anything about aeronautical metals research as it relates to defense. I don't know where they're coming up with this, but I can tell you that some of the material that I received does relate to metals and other types of materials that not only have memory metal capability, but also some of these materials can be used to slow down light and even bring light to a complete standstill. And some of the material, it seems, is able to refract, reflect, and increase light absorption to create invisibility. And we know that many of these UFOs can come in and out of sight and out of view and have the ability to become invisible. And one of the other things that they're able to do is to compress electromagnetic energy and condense it so that you can make information and energy storage smaller and their transfer faster by reducing volume. So some of these materials are very futuristic. And I think what they're trying to do is to blend in this ET materials research with existing research.
Did you expect to get this?
I did not expect to receive this. It took 3.5 years, and when I did receive it, it was jaw-dropping. I took a full 2 days to review it, and I began sending it to folks who could help me to review it. And we all agreed that the request that I made was for only UFO information and not related to traditional aeronautical metals. It does appear, Jaime, that the Pentagon is now backpedaling. Very recently, a Pentagon spokesperson named Sue Goff has released a statement that the information that I received relates to aeronautical metals research for defense applications. I explained to her in an email that my request had nothing to do with that and only to do with UFOs. I still haven't heard back from her, and I don't suspect that I will.
Have they cut communications with you?
They have not. I have sent an email to her, and today I sent a second email. But beyond that, I sent to the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency Chief, for FOIA, who gave me the material, her response. And I'm awaiting his response to see what he says. That is, the DIA Chief for Freedom of Information provided me with this material, these technical reports. And now his boss at the Pentagon is saying that they were released and that they are genuine, but that they don't relate to ET. There's a disconnect there. There are lies going on, and I intend to identify those liars.
Why do you think they are lying now?
I believe that they are lying because although they want us to know that there are craft out there, the idea of a craft that has crashed with the debris and bodies is simply a bridge too far. Perhaps in some time, a long time from now, they will release that kind of information. Maybe they're acclimating us in some way to the truth. There's also the possibility that these documents were released to me because someone within the DIA wanted them to be. And there are those within government that want the truth to come out. And I want to work with those people.
What you have is a treasure, scientific treasure. What are you going to do with it?
I would like to take these documents to scientists who can review them independently and analyze what they mean. What happened, Jaime, was that they did not give to me the test results on the debris that would include what the debris was made of. That is, the elemental composition of the material. They also didn't tell me about the process in which it was alloyed. What they did provide to me were applications for this material, future ways in which we could use this material. And that is where these scientists were focused. The ability to use, for instance, memory metal as a biomaterial, a biological material, or new materials that could be perfect absorbers of light and create invisibility, that kind of thing. These are the applications of the material. They've released those reports, but they have not released the technical reports that would tell us what the debris was comprised of.
It's too secret still.
It is too secret. I have had the thought to file another FOIA requesting photographs of the material. If material was tested, it must have been photographed, and we really don't know what it looks like based on the material that was sent to me. We have some idea, but I think that they need to provide to us an analysis of what the material is and pictures of the material. On the other hand, Jaime, I am of the mind that there might be a national security issue. If, in fact, we have these new materials and these new technologies, we must be careful to guard them from hostile nations. And perhaps in the interest of national security, maybe understandably, this is why they're keeping this so secret.
Are you afraid?
No. I'm not afraid of the government. I'm not afraid of any actions that might be taken against me. Probably the best defense is an offense, and that is to talk to as many people as I can about this and get this information out there.
Have you published all the documents?
I haven't yet. I have one article that appeared on UFOexplorations.com. That article, which is still online, has been reproduced worldwide. I do intend to follow up with another article in time.
Probably you should publish all the documents to be safe.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. So, at this point, I'm a bit of a standstill in that the Pentagon simply isn't responding to my emails. I would like to leave messages with the Pentagon. Unfortunately, I would not be able to record their responses, which is why I want a written documentation back from them in the form of an email. If I were to call the Pentagon and explain all of this to them directly on the phone, I wouldn't be able to record it. And that's a problem. So I'm trying to get the Pentagon to respond to me in a written way. But they're not doing that right now.
Why you don't want to give us an interview with your face? Why you don't... There are none...
Yes, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's a question I've been asked before. I am involved in a business where it would probably be best for me not to have my image shown publicly. I really prefer to keep a little bit in the shadows. I always have. I do not seek any kind of fame or fortune. I only want truth. I'm just a minor player in this. my face and my image are unimportant to the information that I bring to folks.
What would you like to say to all the people in the social media that are making comments on this? Do they have the information?
I've seen some of the comments. I don't preoccupy myself with reading those kinds of comments, especially if they're not constructive. I have seen where many people believe that this material was already out there, that some of the reports were previously available. I've been able to determine that at least one or two of them were, but they were folded into a weapons systems program. And the documents that I received were supposed to be from the Advanced Aerial Threat Investigation Program, AATIP program. And now they're saying that these materials relate to advanced military weapons. Both could be true. It is very possible that what they have done is that these reports are indeed of advanced aeronautical metals and materials for use in traversing space. But their inspiration, their impetus, is extraterrestrial. It is based on retrieved UFO debris. What they've done, Jaime, is they have seamlessly integrated the technology transfer of these materials from the black world into the open under the cover of military applications. And I think that over the decades, many scientists have been involved in these top secret materials projects. But they don't know, and they don't need to know, the reason or the origin of their work, namely recovered UFO material. And when I think about it, defense applications of extraterrestrial materials would be the very first applications you would look at for these kinds of recovered items. And see, this is the way that they're able to confuse the issue, by blending the ET materials in with existing aerospace research.
Tony, we're living an extraordinary moment. Very soon, there are going to be there is going to be released information about this UAP or UFOs, and probably the Senate of the United States is going to open this to the public. Do you expect this area to be considered by the Senate, by the opening that we are seeing right now in the government and the Pentagon?
I do, and in fact, Jaime, today I have sent an email to Marco Rubio, my senator. I live in Florida. Rubio has a very strong interest in UFOs and UAPs, and he has talked about it publicly and repeatedly. And again, today I sent to him the article on all of this and have invited him or his people to contact me. I would be more than happy to expand on all of this with the senator.
This is good for humanity.
I think it's historical. I think that it affects all of us.
It belongs to all of us.
I agree to a point. The difficulty that I have is that there are hostile nations that would love to get these metals and materials for their use. And if this material study is made too public, we could endanger the national security. It's a difficult situation. I'm of two minds about it. In some ways, I can understand why they're doing this, because other nations could exploit this technology to our disadvantage, to our harm. On the other hand, as you point out, Jaime, this is historic, and all of humanity needs to know about it. It's a dichotomy. It's a very difficult thing to deal with.
What is your prediction about all of this? What, in your point of view, is going to happen now?
That is a very good question to which I don't have an answer. I must compel the Pentagon to respond in some way. I am not certain how that can happen, and I request assistance from anyone out there that can help me in this matter. If anyone there has any connections whatsoever to the Defense Intelligence Agency, anyone can reach me at Bragalia, Bragalia, at mail, mail.com. Bragalia@mail.com. I invite your listeners to email me with any information that they might have that could help us.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Yes,
if you
thank
allow
you,
us,
Jaime.
we want to be in touch with you. We want to continue this interview in the very next days and the next week to allow the
Yes,
people
feel
to
free.
know.
Well, feel free to follow up. I'm here, and I'd love to talk again. Jaime, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tony.
I
You are doing
appreciate it.
a great service to humanity. Thank you very much.
And we will thank you so much, and we will talk again. Thanks, Jaime.
Okay, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching our show here on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up and tell us what you think of the show in the comment below. We upload new videos every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to receive notifications. I am Jaime Maussan. See you next week here on The Third Millennium.
Amas y Maussan Producciones presentaron Tercer Milenio con Jaime Maussan.